I'm going to start off with a story, and the story I want to share with you today is a true story. It's a story about Marissa. Marissa is an 11th grade student at a Los Angeles high school that I met last year when I was facilitating a panel of students talking about how they were adopting and adapting a wide range of different emerging technologies to meet their own learning needs. So as I said, this is a true story. Here's Marissa's story. Marissa was in her 11th grade English Literature Honors class recently. These are, again, from her perspective. They were studying Shakespeare. They were doing a unit on Hamlet. And the way the class was set up this particular day, as Marissa told me, is that they were doing some oral reading of Hamlet, and then they were doing some class discussion. It was a block period, so they had 2 hours to be able to work through the material. Now, if any of you remember back to your English literature classes or your classes around Shakespeare, Marissa had a little bit of a problem. She was starting to stumble over some of the Old English terms and concepts. She wasn't picking up all of the thematic symbolism of some of the different areas that were being discussed. She was really struggling, particularly with the concept of the skull, the symbolism of the skull for Hamlet. Now, again, this was a block period. And so as she was sort of struggling with this mentally in her mind, she was getting ready to sort of ask her teacher a question about this, and then she realized that everyone else in the class got it. They were already there, so she felt a little embarrassed about asking the question. But in the same regard, the class was moving forward, and she realized that if she didn't catch up, she was going to lose that entire block period. Marissa also started thinking about the fact that it was going to be late before she was going to be able to get home and maybe do some research on what this whole skull thing was all about. She had cheer practice, she had to babysit her cousin, normal teenage things. Marissa then came up with a solution. She took out her smartphone. She looked up a couple resources, scanned a couple resources about Hamlet, about some of the thematic symbolism within Hamlet, and she got it. She had that awakening moment, and she got it. And she was able to jump right back into the class and be able to participate in the discussion. Now, I thought that was really fascinating that she was so resourceful and was able to use her phone in that way. But again, I had her as a panelist, and so I asked Marissa, I said, I'm a little confused, though, because I know your high school, and I know that your high school has policies against you using your own mobile device. So how were you able to do this? And she did it as most kids are doing today. She did it down here. So she was able to get those resources that she needed at the time she needed them in a very highly personalized way so that she did not lose her place in the class and was able to take it forward. Now, this is a real-world story about what's happening in our schools today, what's happening in our classrooms. We can't put the genie back in the bottle anymore. This is how kids are using technology. They are personalizing their learning every single day, regardless of what policies the schools and districts may have. Unfortunately, the sad part of this is all the work that the kids are doing to circumvent the system to be able to get the learning tools that they need. This is truly personalized learning at work and not conceptual. It's actually happening every day.